This perp back with another video, and I just got done finishing the very final season of Sweet Tooth, and this is such a bittersweet feeling because, man, has this been such an underrated series. The world of Sweet Tooth is just really dope because not only is it bright and vibrant in the production and the quality just maintains and is consistent throughout season 1, 2, and 3, and the writing is very tight. The adventure that Gus and Big Man have just gone on from the start to now where we're at with the finish has been an incredible ride. So let's dive into this season because I feel like they did a really good job of wrapping up this finale and just these last two seasons, just all the different storylines. I feel like everything got pieced up and wrapped up in a bow in a satisfying way. So we pick up where the last season left off, where Big Man, Gus, Wendy, and Becky are all heading to Alaska because that's where Birdie is, that's where Gus's mom's is, and that's where the crux of this whole entire season really revolves around. And as they venture to go to Alaska, they are met with a lot of different obstacles. They don't have to worry about Abbott, but they have to worry about another big bad. One of the last remaining warlords that got introduced in season 2 goes by Mrs. Zhang and her daughter. And what she does, now I will say I still prefer Abbott, but Zhang is definitely as heartless, more ruthless, very reckless, does not give a fuck about these hybrids at all. But we'll get back to that. Going back to our main cast and seeing what they have to kind of deal with, whether it's Jep having to deal with the fact that he is getting up there in age. He has no idea how long he can really make this journey with Gus and everybody else. And he definitely gets down on himself, but then it's up to Gus to kind of bring him back up. And I like how we start off with even with this like casino that they stop at, and Gus loses a bet to this old person. And you even see how old people just don't even care and how selfish they are. And that's the whole theme of this series, is you really see the worst in humanity because of this whole sickness that's going around that's just taking people out left and right, and nobody's able to give a regular birth anymore. It's always going to be a hybrid, and there's some people still in this world that absolutely hate hybrids, or just are kind of leaning or on the fence about the hybrids. Some people really embrace that, and that's why they want to kind of save them. But going back, to Gus and whatnot, that's what he's pretty much constantly going through, even continuing that theme from season 2, where he really starts to see a lot of his loved ones dying in front of his face, and him being so dedicated on trying to figure out what happened to his mom and just meet his mom, reunite with everybody, and try to fix everything in the world. It's a lot of daunting tasks for Gus, and I love how they show that, especially in like episode 4, which was one of my favorite episodes, where we see Gus having to clean up this whole ship full of people that caught the sick, and the whole stuff with Darwin. That was a really emotional episode, man. And going back to now our like antagonists real quick, because I really like how everything is revolving around family, whether it be Gus and Big Man, Becky and Wendy, because Becky and Wendy are also kind of trying to work out their own kind of sister to sister type of relationship that's still not, it's a little rough, but they're able to kind of get closer with this final season. So like I was saying about our main antagonists, the Zhang family and whatnot, We have Rosie, which Rosie, she left the family because of the death of their father, and that kind of made the whole family spiral. And she has quadruplets, and they're all dogs. And her mom absolutely hates hybrids, doesn't even look at them as, just looks at them as just creatures or beasts. It's really fucked up that he made her turn her pretty much grandsons and her sons into like these lap dogs, these attack dogs, which leads to one of her sons getting injured or losing a son, which causes friction between Rosie and Becky, which I really like as well. That's just one of the many storylines that we see in this final season. On top of that, we see a little bit more of Birdie, but she is almost assassinated pretty much, but then crosses paths with one of the most fascinating characters in this whole entire series that kind of flips everything on its head. This whole thing that went on with Thatcher and exactly where the sick came from within this cave in Alaska, and we get all those reveals. It's so fascinating how it gets revealed and whatnot. Another familiar character and storyline that comes into play is Dr. Singh, and how he kind of hops along the journey with Gus and Big Man and everybody else, but Becky and everybody is kind of suspect of him just because of what he has done in the past, and he is just completely has lost his mind, because when you get to the reveal that not only is he trying to help Gus get to this cave, but he didn't tell him everything about the dreams, because they've been kind of sharing similar dreams, and this is why Gus is so open to letting Dr. Singh kind of just come along for the journey. But not only, little does he know that Dr. Singh didn't tell him everything about his dream, where he ends Gus's life, and this is what's going to cure everybody from the sick. Crazy, I know, right? And it's just really well done. I think he's one of the most interesting characters of the series, because him losing everything and him just being at this breaking point, it's just really dope, man. I like that at the very end he was able to somewhat redeem himself by saving Gus, because his whole thing is he is looking for some type of purpose in life. Which brings me to talk about Big Man as well, because he also is looking for purpose, and we also see a glimpse of him in his football past. I really like how they do the backstories and whatnot throughout this final season, giving us more and more character depth with Big Man's character, him willing to just put his life on the line to save Gus. And man, yeah, that was really dope. And him also clashing with Singh, not really trusting him, but then coming to a moment in this season, it would happen in episode 4 when they started to kind of warm up to one another. But then obviously Singh had to betray them because he's just completely lost his mind. But he quickly does a 180. Like, so there's just all these dope intertwining characters that Gus, has a profound impact on. He always looks for the best within humanity, even though it gets hectic, even though there's people out there that just want him dead and just want his whole kind eradicated. He still manages to see the good in people no matter what. Overall, I thought this was a very satisfying ending, them pretty much explaining the origin of where the sick came from and how they resolve of just burning down the tree so nobody can really get to it, and that really stops like the rest of humanity from going extinct. Characters that were distant are able to come a little bit closer, and it pretty much ends with everybody reuniting with the rest of the hybrids. I was about to say, if they didn't show Bobby, we was gonna have problems, you know what I'm saying? But Gus is now able to kind of be at peace, even though he has lost not only his father, his mother, sacrificed herself to save not only Sweet Tooth, but also Big Man at the same time. And what a finale. The acting was really dope. Kelly Marie Tran did a fantastic job as Rosie as well. I definitely think that we're going to see her on her acting shit because she did a really good job in this. I know she gets a lot of flack for The Last Jedi and stuff in Star Wars, but man, she is very underrated in this. And this show just has so much emotion, so much depth to it, and has such a rich world. And it's just a really interesting take on a virus type of storyline. I'm also glad that we get to see the older Gus as well. Now that he's with Wendy, he has his own family. Him telling him this whole story and whatnot, and just how that all wraps up in a bow very nicely. I enjoyed this series. I would definitely rewatch it again. I think it was a very solid 3 seasons and very consistent. I love that they shot on locations. The locations and set pieces were really dope, very bright. Like I said, vibrant. The performances from everybody did a really good job for this final season. And I can't wait to see what these actors do in the future, because I'm definitely going to be tuning into that. But let me know how you guys feel about this final season in the comments below if you get around to checking it out. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.